Right, so in your energy today, okay, so your ancestors want you to know that part of your fate is being psychic. Okay, so you may end up, or you are, a reader, medium, clairvoyant, and if all of that feels a bit too much, it could be a case that you just got strong intuition. Like if you don't, those sorts of names aren't particularly helpful to you. But spirits and your ancestors want you to try not to be scared of your intuition. Perhaps you pick up on people and what you hear, maybe, or maybe you're clairaudient or feel. It doesn't already always feel comfortable, but perhaps it even shocks you. So spirit's asking you, if that is the case or when that is the case, to use golden light to protect yourself, so you're not picking up other people's like stuff, their energy, and making it yours. You might be doing that if you're in the beginning stages, or you're just sensitive to people's energy in general. Like you might be they might be miles away from you and you can feel what's going on, or even hear what's going on, but that might not be for all of you, but it could well be in the future. But spirit wants you to know that God is here, and like just call on golden light, divine light, and wrap yourself in it, and call on your angels and ancestors to help you if you feel like you're picking up on people's projections. I think you have escaped energies. We have got earth sign out here, but it doesn't have to be. That it could be you or them, as an indication. But you were around people that were creating drama for you. They were projecting onto you, and spirit wants you to know this was out of envy and jealousy, which I'm sure you already know, but maybe they were perhaps you loved these people, or you gave them I'm hearing a higher seat at your table, so they had some influence over you. So it's like your psychic energy or your intuition wasn't as balanced around these energies. Perhaps you knew them for a long time, perhaps their family, perhaps long-term friends, or something of this, or they just had a position in your life where they had more influence than, say, new people you come across, or people you're not entwined with energetically. And it has got karmic masculine out here, yeah, because friends and acquaintances came upside down, so people that weren't particularly the best people for you, and they were bringing this energy into you, and it was tipping your scales at one point. And I wouldn't be surprised if it still does. Like maybe there's like an echo, or like sometimes you get in contact with it and you drop into this energy. But again, just remember, it's to surround yourself with golden light, and it may be very well that it's not a case of that you just think about it, those projections, that envy and jealousy. You can feel it, you can feel the source where it's coming from, which very often when people do these projections and envy and jealousy, it's coming from a very visceral place. And it's usually inadequacy or severe insecurity, and you could be picking up on it. But do your best to just remember where it's stemming from. It's nothing to do with you. These energies have some growing to do, and you just gave them. I'm just seeing like a table when you were giving them like really cushioned seats, and maybe you were sitting without a cushion. Perhaps you didn't even give yourself a chair in these energies. You were listening. You were listening almost like a child, as if they knew the truth, or you're picking up on their energy as though that's the truth. It's not the truth. These people have got some growing to do. I mean, people don't, if you have to go around projecting on people, undermining people, and have, usually I'd say almost 90% of the time it's something, if not more, in fact. It's their own stuff. It's nothing to do with you. It's something they've got to work out. But we do have friends and acquaintances upside down, so it doesn't have to be. It could even have been a lover, but or a few people. But spirit just wants you to be aware of this. And in fact, if it has anything to do about the way you look, they in fact really love the way you look. I don't know, that's probably not for all of you, but it could have been anything, you know, something 3D. I'm not surprised to see it. Your twin flame wants to come back, and we've got another twin flame card, and I honestly don't have that many twin flame cards, and true love is here. Okay, this person is shocked. Okay, I think they may be shocked about your intuition. We have got magic out here, and the sort of lower vibrational magic. I don't want to say it out loud. I think they could be shocked it's not working. I think they may have been using this sort of shifty, lower vibrational energy on you. And again, not everyone's doing magic, but they could be playing mental games, mind games, but it does feel more like energy work, and it's not working. They're not breaking you. Okay, you've stopped listening to that energy, or it's not got the nice cushioned seats that it once did. So this person is just in the memory of you, and they're aware you're completely done, so they want to get in contact with you. Spirit wants you, and they look for you everywhere. Okay, it has come through in another reading before, but if you see people that remind you of this person, it's their energy trying to bump into you, trying to make sure you're thinking about them, that kind of thing. But for most of you, I think you're happily single. But it does say here to plan ahead, and then that wasn't an accident. I don't know if you can see that on here, but I can see the bottom of these cards here, and it says imagination, celebration. So I think Spirit wants you to get into an energy where you do your best to sort of get excited about what you want in your future, write it down and believe it's going to happen. You know, you are the author, and you're in better energy now that you've let this go, although you might dip into these projections, but you're more than likely very gifted. Okay, and if you don't want to call it psychic, call it intuition, but we have got channeling cards out here, so I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a lot of spiritual gifts on their way if they're not already here. I'm going to go here. If you have a mother figure that's passed over, whether that's aunt, grandmother, something like that, Spirit wants you to know that they're with you, they're helping you. So maybe that can be, I wouldn't be surprised if that person's your ancestor. So you can call on them if you so wish, Yeah, these people didn't know that. I think these people are shocked, including this twin flame energy. And again, it can be high-level soulmate, that they're in an energy where they're actually sorry. They feel sorry for how they've behaved. Perhaps you were the one that was, you know, apologising even when you hadn't done anything. Maybe you had that sort of people-pleasing energy. And they never thought they would have to think about being sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, you would apologise for them. But again, that might not be all of you, but it does feel like that kind of energy. Okay, so this is my God card. Okay, and this has come out before. And since I was saying just a moment ago about, you know, writing down what it is that you want, perhaps you could write it. Again, this is just a suggestion. You don't have to take it, but write a letter to your ancestors, your divine angels, whatever your belief system is, in the present tense of what it is that you are wanting, like a letter, and, you know, with gratitude and so forth, so it can come in quicker if you so wish, but it is out here. I am seeing wedding keep flashing out, so just, and that was before I put the camera on, and then the true love and twin flame came out twice. Yeah, so I'm sure you already know this. You truly were dealing with somebody who was a player, and if it's not romantic, you were dealing with people that were playing in your energy. You were bumping these people up in some way, their ego, giving them that nice cushioned seat whilst they watch you sit on the floor. It's kind of energy I'm getting, and now they're not even, the door's locked, they're not even allowed in, and you've got all the cushions. Okay, you could be dealing with somebody that's in some kind of cult or organization or some kind of religious group or something like this. Maybe that's why they're shocked, because they do use a little bit of magic, or they have got like strong manipulative skills that, you know, usually work, and perhaps it did work for a while and it's not anymore. You're in this new beginning, this new life. It can't come in. If it does come in, it's not bringing you back to them. It's not, you might have a bit of a, it might destabilize your scales for a little bit, but then your ancestors and angels and the spirit team, they rush in and you only get stronger. It might take a few days, a few hours, a few minutes, but it doesn't do what it doesn't make you scared or make you, abandonment issues. It doesn't touch on where they would like it to, like that, where you're sort of imagining them as an option, or thinking, oh, should I not be completely done? I mean, maybe you have moments of that, but now what's happening is they have to address their abandonment issues that they were projecting onto you. It's like you've got rid of those clothes, and these people could have been mean. I'm tempted to say an earth sign. And when the karmic masculine's out here, when in regards to friends and acquaintances, it doesn't have to be. They could have just been a masculine energy around you, you know, like being authoritative, not taking that sort of divine feminine approach where, you know, you nurture, you care and stuff like that. But yeah, you said bye to these people. Yeah. Yeah, and you're getting better as a result. This person could now be seeking help for these abandonment issues in whatever form that's sort of manifesting itself in, because I'm tempted to say their magic isn't working, but it could be manipulation or whatever they were doing, it's not working. So they're getting to a place where they now need to get help. Perhaps they had sort of low vibrational coping mechanisms and that's not working. So tell me more, spirit. Yeah, wizard is out here. I think this person does use magic, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, so you just said goodbye to anybody that ruins your peace. Yeah, they're crying. So it might not be actually like professional help. How was that? That was like that. You know, they could be, they could be consulting an aunt or a good friend, or, something like this. But they're concerned that your love is not going to be the same ever again. They relied on that. And I think these people did too. They liked that lovely cushion you gave them at this table. It feels like there was a banquet on that table, and you owned that table and you owned those chairs, and you decided to sit on the floor and give them the seats. And they loved that. They loved that energy. But they're not even invited in now, and you're on the cushion seat, and you're happily single. Yeah, these people are abusive. Like, no one would allow somebody to sit on the floor. Like that is the image that came to me. You wouldn't let somebody sit on the floor, but they allowed you to sit on the floor, even though they didn't even own those seats. I don't know why Spirit's bringing me that. Yeah, so this was draining energy, but do just be mindful if, I don't know if you've recently let this go, or, it loops back onto you because it was so imbalanced, and somehow you put yourself back on that floor, even though there is a cushioned seat there. So just be mindful. Do cover yourself in this golden light, or you encounter other energies that are also wanting to put you on the floor. Yeah, but you are experiencing more energy, and I feel more spiritual energy, but it could be physical energy, more motivation, something like this. But yeah, don't be scared of what your intuition is telling you. Perhaps maybe for some of you it's easier to not listen to your intuition and imagine you're in the wrong or something like this, because we've got the moon card out here, which makes me feel like you can see what shouldn't be seen in a way, and perhaps you doubt that, and you'd rather sort of at times blame yourself, or take the way that fits. Violet fire is coming out, so golden light and violet fire, and violet fire has come out of quite strongly the last week, and you know, prior to that there's been weeks it doesn't. So perhaps do use it. So I think this person, it says they only love you. Now your energy's away, they do. They like that cushion seat that you were giving them. But they were unfair, and I think they might have been using this on you. It says, breathe, you have me. Maybe you were constantly in this energy, like, I don't know, like, just play, it could magic or manipulation to the point where they're like, you're like, oh my God, you know, like maybe something stupid, like, if they text me, I exist, you know, that kind of energy. Like you would give them way too much power, and power that they do not have now. And don't blame yourself that maybe you were there, especially if they're a wizard. They could have, you know, been doing stuff on you, but you're, but even if it wasn't that, they're a master manipulator. They like controlling, they like to be puppet master. And I'm not calling you a puppet, but that's how they were coming in energetically with you. But that's over. It might come in a little bit, there might be ripples of it, but just stay strong and call on your ancestors and angels. Messages for the collective, please, spirit, for the high spirit of all. Yeah, you could have a job offer coming in. I don't think you're missing this person. Missing you's upside down. I don't think you're not missing them like you used to if you did. Yeah. This person needs you not to follow your divine intuition, your psychic downloads, your so just be aware of this. When you feel like your scales are being imbalanced, stay strong, you know, hold on. Yeah, so they're considering not being toxic anymore, these energies. Some of these energies may not have even known they were being toxic. They, you know, they just, I feel like you were lavishing them with energy and care and big pillows and comforts, and they just loved it. And then when it's all taken away and they don't have it, they're like, oh, you know, perhaps I didn't even... you know, it didn't belong to me, that they gave me that, you know, like something like this. Spirit wants you to not tell anyone your business, especially these energies. So if you happen to, like, I don't know, pass them in the street or bump into them in the supermarket or something like that, and they, you know, what's been going on, what's new, don't tell them, you know, like, especially if there's anything that you're doing that it's precious to you, particularly like a job, you know, like, or study or hobby even, don't tell them. But obviously listen to your own intuition. And if I'm tapping into someone who's psychic and all of these things, you should know. But this might be just a nudge or confirmation from spirit, especially if you're at the beginning stages. Yeah, so I genuinely feel like you come to a place where you might see things that remind you of this person, but or people, and it doesn't touch you, you know, like, so you, like, energetically it doesn't impact you, you know. So maybe there was a time, you know, somebody would come up, somebody had the same hair or they had the same name or something like that, and you'd feel like a flinch energy. I think that's happening less, and if it is happening, you're not impacted the way you were, you know, because your vibration's higher now. You've let this go. I heard this mud go, so I mean there's nothing wrong with mud. We need mud, but perhaps your energy was like walking through mud with them around, you know, like you sort of had to wade through it rather than glide. Coffee shop's coming out a lot. This person or people very well could come in with this sort of soft offer of, you know, just sounding so simple, you know, like, let's go for coffee, and like, you know, why, you know, coffee sounds, what, you know, why not, 20 minutes, what could happen? But just be mindful of that. Make sure you only want to because you want to, not because it's like, yeah. Yeah. you're an angel in this person's eyes, so I think this person has started to recognize your angelic nature, or your the energy I was feeling earlier about, you know, giving people the seat that actually belongs to you, and it's the more comfortable one. Feels a bit like Mother Mary energy. This person probably wanted you more in Mary Magdalene energy. Not that there's anything wrong with Mary Magdalene, but you know, like, or both. But you don't need these people to validate you, so don't yeah, you're secure in yourself. You don't need people to validate you. And I don't think I'm tapping into somebody who's like susceptible to a nice compliment or anything like that, but just be wary if that is a, you know, like I don't know, I was gonna say sore spots, but you know, I don't know, perhaps you grew up and you didn't get much of that or something, so when somebody does say something nice, you're sort of more susceptible to it. So it's like compliment, offer for coffee shop, okay, do you know what I mean? And like, it could maybe happen without you really realizing, and it's because you're imagining that they have your heart, they have your Mother Mary type energy, but they don't. They could well be more like Judas. I don't know why these religious themes are coming through. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit. Yeah, people are recognizing that they get you wrong. Yeah, and you're over your twin flame. Karmic friendships here. I think you've got over a lot of things that didn't deserve your energy. Or it's not about deserve. Well, it feels like deserve, but you just have nothing. There's nothing here for you anymore. You've learnt these lessons. You've outgrown this, but you could still dip and maybe not believe your divine feminine here. Maybe not believe your divine status, not believe your divinity, and drop into this projection world that you were living in, and it loops or something, and you're forgetting about your intuition or, you know, psychic abilities. Yeah, this person can't sleep and more than likely is pretending to be happy. Spiritual gifts is out here. That's not an accident that it was coming through so strongly earlier. So if you haven't got them yet, you will. I mean, we're all born with them, but we're often born with different ones, and they can be obscured, and you know, and it just depends on what path you're on and what ones they are, and I think possibly you experienced like a loss of them. Not a lot. They weren't ever not there, but they were just maybe covered with that mud. Or, you know, the cushion seat that you were giving them, it was muffling it down. And maybe sometimes when you allow this energy to come back in your energy, it gets muffled a bit again or something like that. Yeah, so these people just weren't as awakened as you. And I saw Leo, so that could be a sign for somebody, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah, somebody who was manipulative, and I did feel that energy, or worse. We've got a Cancer out here. Yeah, you know the truth, that was upright. But the star signs aren't important. They can be indicative for some of you if, you know, they ring true, but it's energy, it's not. Yeah, you could be a healer in nature. Perhaps you were healing quite a lot of selfish people. But be mindful about people trying to now say that you are or something. Maybe that's something you can... I saw Divine Masculine. I'm sure I saw earlier. I did. It was in this deck, but I didn't say it. Like, you don't listen to people too much. What people say is rubbish, and not in a bad way, but it is about them. So whether somebody says amazing things about you or terrible things about you, it's kind of try to make it not have any influence on you. It's you are you, and the divine made you, and everything else is, yeah, it might feel nice to get a compliment or get told nice things, but you don't need it. You've got the validation from the divine. You're here, you're alive. Everything else is sort of slightly contorted. You know, always listen to yourself. Okay, So you might feel like this person's not right in the head or the heart, which is quite heavy. And they thought you were going to chase them. Twin flame again. That must be all the twin flame cards I have. I don't think you dream about this person. Maybe there was a time you did and you don't. I mean, in your literal dreams. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit and God's will. Yeah, jealousy's landing over here. So this energy definitely had envy towards you. We've got Taurus out here. That could be an indication for some of you. Yeah, so before you weren't giving these karmic energies to God, you were soaking them in. Soaking it in like a cushion. All that poisonous rain, you were just soaking it in and it was draining you. But now you're not. They're now drowning in that very same poisonous rain that they were happy to give out. And maybe for some of you, you're like, well, you know, it wasn't that bad. It was just a few digs here and there or a few silences here and there. But it's the energy that they're holding. And does it mean they're bad? No. I mean, you put it where it fits. You know, everyone's on their own journey. It's just their frequency wasn't a match to yours. Yeah, you're starting to learn to trust the process. Or psychic again. Maybe you're going to get so psychic, you have no choice but to trust the process in a way that wasn't happening previously. I did see that before. So we've got Aries. Got a lot of star signs out here today, but that's fire. Yeah, people that were performative, people that were like love bombing or just manipulative. But you know, if you don't have the eyes, it could all maybe look fair enough or something. Gemini's here, but that does make me think that you might have been dealing with people with dual modes, or if not that, maybe two-faced, or that mental issues in terms of like they struggle with I mean, yeah, so that they wanted you to chase them. But again, put that where that fits. Pisces, got a lot of star signs today. Yeah, and that's no shade to anybody that suffers any, you know, mental health issues. Everyone goes through different things at different times, but it's just to make you aware of who it could be. It's not like a disparaging situation. Yeah, so you're making healthy choices. Perhaps you weren't before. Perhaps you didn't even recognise you weren't. You thought the right thing to do was to be this Mother Mary energy, give everyone a big cushion around you, sit on the floor, take the breadcrumbs that fall from the banquet that you made. It's that kind of energy, and you like, like, my legs are starting to hurt now, and I'm starving. And Spirit was like, yeah, you don't have to do it. You made the banquet, soulmates. Could involve a soulmate. We've got a lot of twin flame cards out here. Yeah, you're separated. I think you could be heading towards a soulmate. And some of these friendships could have been soulmates with karmic contracts that you needed to learn. But I don't think you're angry about this energy. Maybe it would be important for you to feel your anger sometimes rather than imploding the anger on you. Maybe that's why that's coming out. Maybe you're listening to those projections and taking them in rather than getting angry. I'm not saying you go out angry and start, you know, kicking up a fuss or anything, but, you know, write it out, draw it out. Whatever you need to do, scream in the pillow, go for a run, join a boxing class, you know, those sorts of things. Yeah, don't bottle it up. Don't allow it to live in your body. Messages for the collective food spirit. Yeah, these people were more immature than you. And they were karmic. And they didn't love you unconditionally. And I think you possibly did love them unconditionally. And you gave them paradise energy. But they weren't giving you paradise energy. And they could have loved you. But they can only love you as much as they love themselves. I look for you everywhere. It's back on there at the top. Yeah, you've got people in your energy field really missing you. Like they're missing those lovely cushions and that paradise energy, that Mother Mary energy that you were giving out. But it was part of your journey to recognize the karmic nature of them, and that's a tower for them. Okay, and it could ripple into your energy. You know, like you can feel that they're feeling this tower. But it's for the greater good, okay? And it allows you to go into your own happiness if you're not already sort of experiencing that. Anything else, Spirit? For the highest good of all of God's will. Messages for the collective, please. Yeah, so these people didn't take a leap of faith with you, which they wish they, yeah, and they didn't want anything conventional with you. Yeah, you're stepping into courageous energy, almost fearless. And if you're not, you will do. As I really feel like your intuition or your spiritual gifts are going to get so strong, and you're going to so see this as like, you're not going to see this as a loss, or you know, like a loss of baggage that you've learned. Yeah, these relationships have faded for you. Page of Cups upside down. Yeah, it was divine judgment that would happen. Messages for collective spirit and God's will. These people wanted you in lack. Okay, they wanted financial insecurity or emotional insecurity. But you're not. You've got 10 of Pentacles here. And again, it doesn't have to be finances, but it's just overall well-being. And I think these people were deliberately, and it could be unconscious, but some of these energies it wasn't. And they were trying to destabilize you because they knew this is your journey. 9 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. So for as long as you were given these cushioned seats, when you own that seat and the banquet's yours and you sit on the floor, that scale, the power dynamic isn't equal. And they just felt as long as they kept you there, you wouldn't head towards this. It's like karmic. It's like a bit like a game. Yeah, now they're heartbroken. Like, you know, to get to the next round, you had to recognize who wasn't meant to be at the table or something. I don't know what that's come through. Like a video game or something. Let's get to the next level. Yeah, you had to call this judgment, but it was the divine that called this judgment. These people were arrogant. They were possibly even a tyrant in your energy. I'll go here. No, I'll go here. I better stop anyway. 33:11 on the clock. I'll just take a couple more, please, spirits. Yeah, these people didn't want you to release them, and they don't have any inner peace, and they're into partying. And again, that might be for all of you. Like, well, no, they're a homebody. They don't like partying, but maybe like partying in your energy. Do you know what I mean? Like having a hoot whilst you're on the floor and they're eating all the food. This is just energy. It releases upside down because I think they don't want you to release, and they know you're heading, or if not, in this energy of 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. But just be mindful that you do have energy in your energy field that do not want you to release them, especially if you've got a wizard or somebody that works with energy not for the greater good. Yeah, keep your distance because it could impact your opportunities. And completely done is here, and I think Spirit's asking you to carry on with that. No coffee, no coffee shop. But obviously, always listen to your own intuition. Yeah, it would only bring you conflict. I think you might be hopeful because you've got this sort of Mother Mary forgiving energy. Coffee cup upside down. Thank you, Spirit. If they come in like this, it's going to bring you conflict. Keep your distance. It's going to get in the way of your opportunity energetically. Okay, and coffee shop has been coming out a lot recently in different decks. And of course, it doesn't have to be coffee. It could be something like, let's go for a gallery, or come to this party. You know, and I think you're sort of desperately hoping that they will be what you want them to be, but they're not. They're not awakened. It just is. In this energy right now, who knows? 2 months time, they may have had an awakening. Who knows? But that, make sure you don't end up, you could end up in the heartbreak energy again, or the unbalanced scales again, that you're already having to do a little bit of work on anyway. Listen to your intuition. You've got strong intuition, if not psychic and clairvoyant and a channeler. So and it looks like that's coming, and you've got true soulmates coming, healthy soulmates coming, okay, that are not karmic. And even if it is isn't love, you know, it's not a love situation, if it is a love situation, this person wasn't really a friend to you, and you're happy. If you are single, you're happily single. Okay, maybe you need to say that. Or maybe sometimes you're like, oh, I'm single. No, you're happily single. You're choosing to be single. You're working with the divine. All right, thank you for being here, Archangel Michael. Please look after myself and the collective. Please bless us and please protect us. So mote it be.